So I want to go ahead and do kind of a retro-y inspired Lunar New Year pattern. And so to do so, I am going to go ahead and fill in my background color with this kind of bright turquoise. And I'll just drag it over. And let's see, then I'm going to go to the brush set, which is there, Lunar New Year. And I'm going to start with some, let's see, there's fish, there's lion costumes, there's a lot of dragons, firecrackers, yin yang, gold bullion, lanterns, blah, 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 blah. But I am looking for what my kids love the most about Lunar New Year is red packets. So I'm going to change the color to a bright red. And I'm going to go ahead and on a new layer, make sure your background's in its own layer. And then go ahead and place each element on its own layer so that you can still move them around and they're not going to damage each other or be difficult to move later. So let's see, I want a red packet. I'll move that down there for now. Again, I'm going to put each element of my pattern in its own layer so that I can tweak it before I get too far along. And then let's see, I'm going to go ahead and look for fireworks are usually a pretty important part of Lunar New Year celebrations. So I will look for, there's 3. I'm going to go with this one and I'm going to change my color to, I think like a hot pink kind of thing, just to make it really fun and vibrant. Excellent. So again, if everything's in its own layer, you can go ahead and bring things forward and backwards as you like, as you adjust your pattern a little bit. I think that's a little too big, so I'll put it there. And then let's see, I'm going to go ahead and again in another layer, choose another element. Personally, I love clouds, especially like the Asian aesthetic of clouds. So I'm going to choose kind of a more abstract-y, modern one and put those in there. I think I want it a little more creamy. Let's see, what color do I want? I want that like classic kind of vanilla custardy kind of. No, I guess that's okay. I can tweak it later. So I've got fireworks, red packet, clouds. Let's go with the moon. There are some of the moon phases in line art, a little bit kind of a boho-y style. I think I'm going to go back to that vibrant Chinese red and lay in, let's lay in like a crescent. Put that over there for now. As again, I know it doesn't look good right now, but I'm just building it slowly, taking the time to separate everything. And then I think I'll go for one last element. And I'm loving this vibrant Lunar New Year red, and it's so auspicious. I'm going to probably keep that. And the last element I want to use is, there's some, let's see, I need to rename that. I can just say that now. This little lotus bud kind of looks like a little bum. I think it's pretty cute. So yeah, okay. So I know those are the elements. Oh, I think one more thing to give it. I've got brights. I've got a bright, the blue, fuchsia, the red, and I think I need something kind of deep and dark to kind of just balance it out and give a little more depth. So I will go with one of the kind of classic, unobtrusive woven motifs, kind of knots that are usually featured in Asian designs, and go with kind of a navyish and put that in its own layer as well. Okay, so those are all the elements that I know I want to use in my pattern, and now I can kind of drag them to and fro to just kind of arrange them before I make the square pattern. So one of the important things to remember when you're creating repeating patterns, specifically tiling patterns in Procreate, is that they can't touch the edges. So keep your initial layout within the confines of the square that you've created. Otherwise things are going to get cut off and they won't repeat perfectly. So, and you'll be sad. So that's not good. Red packet up here. I am going for like an overlap. It is intentional. Move that down. Trace that a little bit, overlap, and then this little cheeky lotus bum thing down over there. Everything looks a little too touchy, so I will maybe just shift that up. Get that over there. I just want a bit of separation between the lotus and the moon. My clouds I'd like to be a little more prominent because I personally just love these. And I want them to go over the moon, so I'm going to go ahead and drag that up in my layers. If it wants to cooperate, I'll drag that down, either or. So my clouds sit on the tippy top, and maybe I'll put that up over there. Okay, so I know it looks weird. I'm okay with that. And that is just my base pattern. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, look at all of our layers, and let's go ahead and group everything. So to group, if you're not already familiar, go ahead and highlight one layer, and instead of going that way, swipe to the right. For each layer you want to group. Swipey, swipey, and you can see up here is a group, and click that. So now all of that is still separate, easy to edit, but it's in its own group. This is my base. I want to keep this nice and fresh so that I can go back to it if I make a mistake. So I'll go ahead and swipe the other way now and click duplicate. I'm going to turn off my original layer because I don't want to mess it up. And now I need two versions of this. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this just for clarity if I can. I'm just going to say OG. Oops. OG for original, and never mind that it's not capped, whatever. And then this is my base I'm going to work with. So I want two of these because I'm going to drag them in opposite directions, as I'll show you. So go ahead and duplicate that again. And now these two groups, we're going to go ahead and create our repeating pattern. So I'm going to click the arrow tool. I'm going to make sure that snapping and magnetics are both toggled on. This is essential. And you can go ahead and drag the top group either left or right, you choose, just one way or the other. And you'll see once it highlights there that it was in the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other copy. Just drag it in the opposite direction so that those two sides are going to repeat. So we've got our left and right repeat perfect. And now we just need to do the same thing with the top and the bottom. So what you can do is go ahead and group those together by pinching and make a second copy of that, because now we're going to go up and down. So it doesn't need to be on all your separate layers because we have that original preserved if we needed to go back and edit, so we don't have to worry about it. So the same thing we're going to do that we did left and right, we're going to do up and down to get the bottom and top edges perfect. So choose one or the other and drag it up and bottom. Oops, again we're snapping, so if it goes off, no biggie, or it helps you get it perfect. Snap. There we go. So if we're going to import that into like Photoshop as a pattern, it's going to repeat perfectly. So if you're happy with that negative space, that's great. I might go ahead personally and go ahead and share, export a JPEG or a PNG so that I have that that version, so I can see, you know, in a fully repeated pattern if that's going to look great or not, or if I might instead, like, you can go ahead and connect those because that's your tile now. You can go ahead and a layer above, experiment with dropping in maybe another element or repeating maybe. What comes to my mind is the cloud. Looks like it'd be a good chance to go ahead and get some more clouds in there, because I think I mentioned that I kind of love those. So yeah, like a smaller version, a smaller instance of the cloud, what have you, kind of thing. So I think that I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and export, share that repeating JPEG as well, save it, and then I'll airdrop that to my desktop and Photoshop or whatever app and see if I love it. And that is how I would create a repeating pattern using Procreate and the 88 Auspicious Lunar New Year stamp style brushes that I've made. So I hope you love them. I think they're super fun to use. That's it. Okay, thanks. I'm just gonna go with that beautiful red. And for example, I would use one of the fish down at the bottom. I know they're at the bottom. Where are they? Okay, I would use this kind of koi paper cut I have my background on its own layer, and I would put my fish in its own layer above it. And I'm going to try kind of a peach just for contrast. Make sure it's a big instant and tap it right in the middle. Okay, I'm going to go with that. So say example, just in a super simple design, maybe I would make it 5x7 or something, A7 for more of a greeting card. But anyway, for the sake of this demonstration, I just wanted to make sure that you consider filling in the stamp. So you make the stamp, you make your design, maybe you put something in the background, I don't know. But you can also remember that you can fill in areas of it so that it is a little bit more complex. So I would go with, you know, I would make the water blue, for example. There aren't any basic brushes in here, but in this case, if I wanted to fill in or get some contrast in color, I would just go ahead and use one of the inking brushes that comes with Procreate, and in its own layer beneath the fish, I would go ahead and give it a nice contrasting and not worry about staying in the lines. Just make it kind of a fun, super high contrast design. So it's just really bright and vibrant and happy and cheerful, and you know, all the good things that you want in, you know, such a fun holiday such as Chinese New Year. Maybe two I might throw in the very, very last, again in its own layer, so you have the versatility of editing. Double happiness. I think it's one of my favorite simple ideas about Lunar New Year, about in general like Asian culture, Chinese culture specifically is double happiness. Who doesn't love that idea? So I maybe would just drop it in kind of like a little chop, you know, maybe just over here, just so it's present but not, you know, too in your face. So I hope you find this versatile and fun, and wish you a happy Lunar New Year for 2021. Let's do it. Okay.